In the house, we're gonna do an awesome unboxing. It was gonna be awesome, and we didn't do it. And I'm glad we didn't. And I'm talking in this voice because if you guys know my luck with the Micro Monster so far, it's not good. And you know what? That luck continues. These things are becoming like a spoiled banana. We don't know if they're lucky or they're just horrible. They leave a bad taste in your mouth when you deal with one, right? So here's the one. If you guys, let me just full story. Let's shoot it out. Let's get the whole story going here. I ordered a Micro Monster dual spool, right? I wanted the deep and the shallow spool. So along came this package, this box, and you can clearly see right on it that it was not. So I knew I could use the shallow spool, and I used it on a filling rod, so I went ahead and got like a partial refund. They sent me the wrong one. These are cheaper than the dual spool ones. So you guys remember that story? All right, follow along. So I've been using this one on the filling rod, and it's fine. Everything works good. But then, I don't know if you guys can hear that. And I don't know what is in there. I've had this reel apart a couple times trying to figure out what noise. There's a noise that's just not there. You hear this thing? Now this one has a different spool. You know, it's the deep. It was a shallow and the deep Acura. Basically the same reels, but this is the 8-to-1. My other two, if anything, I'd swear the other two are actually smoother than the 8-to-1, the 7-to-1s I have, the other Acuras. Let me get this thing to focus. So you hear that? That reel's good. That's a good quiet reel. Hear that extra, almost like a little catch of something. I took the gears off, cleaned them with the toothbrush and soap, dried them off good, re-oiled them. And the thing is, it's not anything into the spool bearings. All that's fine and quiet. So I don't know if I don't know what's up. I don't know if this thing's just junk now or whatever. But the other three and the Dark Wolf Ultras, I have 3 of those. Now this is one I've used, and I sold the other one. Well, I traded Charles basically. I traded him the one with the dynamic brakes for a regular one, so because I knew I was ordering more, I'd have all of the same reel. So although the dynamic brakes may be a better overall reel, what they put out on the market now, fixed braking, you don't need to add magnets, you don't need to add anything. These are just awesome casting reels. All the videos are out there for those of you new that are just now watching. If I compared the older Dark Wolf Ultra to the new one to whatever, so there's no issues there. And out of the 3 of these I have, the 2 I haven't really been out on the water, but they seem to be real smooth, but they're all 7-to-1. So I've only had a couple 8-to-1 in these, so I don't know if it's a gearing issue, but this one seems fine. You might be able to hear the slightest of noise, and these might be hard to tell because they got line on them. But if anything, the one I've used the most is the one that's the smoothest, just because I think over time that they take a little bit of a break-in period. A lot of your metal-to-metal parts, you know, require, whether it be a reel, a car, or whatever, right? Now you're hearing the line click on the deal, but these feel just a touch, and it's probably just because of the ratio that feel smoother, feel freer, is because of it's less resistance even with nothing on them. The different in the gears, the reduction system. But this one it's right there with those. If anything, I can feel the difference between 8-to-1, 7-to-1 just by sitting there free reeling them. This one for sure has a noise, but it still feels smooth. But if I turn it, I'd swear I can feel it in my fingers, like a clicking, like something somewhere is just not right with this reel. And I don't know what it is. I've had it apart, like I said, a couple times. It still will work fine. It's one of those things, if you're not a big stickler, real picky on your stuff, you'd probably never even notice it. You probably would have put line on it, been out there throwing and casting. When you're out on the water, you know, a lot of times with this mount on a rod, you won't even notice, because it's still real smooth. Like, it's still real free. If you guys, you know, it works. It just, there's something there. You guys can probably hear it in the sound. Same thing with this reel, is real smooth, but it has a slight resistance over these other reels. If you guys remember, that's the ALDEBARAN, right? Arguably the best BFS reel made to date. It doesn't even have a BFS spool factory. It comes with an MGL spool, right? Okay. So now to this unboxing part. Oh my word, you guys. So I got them in, and they came from 2 different stores, and I've already filed a claim because look at this. They are marked exactly what they're supposed to be. Here's the other one over here. So we've got 2 Micro Monsters M100Rs, right? Gear ratio. Then it shows you what I guess is the 2 different spool, what line or whatever they'll hold, because the other one just has, or no, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is, what that's telling you. So, no problem, right? Well, you'd think that, but you guys just wait. You wait until you see what they did to me. Now, it wasn't a Kingdom store. The Kingdom store, I ordered one, and it was this one right here. So the one I ordered from the Kingdom store, and it was only $62 on sale. Here it is. So you get the little pamphlet. That was good. It comes with a little bit of protection right there. The reel is in the pouch it already comes with, and now I've got the spool switch, but it comes with the shallow spool in the reel. That's the shallow spool. And it comes with a deep spool. So everything worked out fine on this one. And we'll compare spools here in a minute. So you get a shallow and a deep spool, and you get the reel, and I'll show you the difference in colors for those of you that haven't seen them in a video, like side by side. I'll try to get the focus. So you get a nice, that's very good. That, all your reels should come with that. I don't know if I'd use them. I use socks. You guys know the deal. So here it is. And we'll compare it. You can see it next to this one. Same exact reel, with the exception of the aluminum parts are, it's not really a pink. It's kind of a pink, but if anything, it's actually a very brighter type purple, right? It almost matches this purple knob, and that's what I thought it would come. I don't know what the intended color was supposed to be. If you notice on the packaging, it's funny. The boxes with this pink looking dude are darker purple box, and then the pink box is basically the one this comes in, the 8-to-1. That's kind of ironic, don't you think? It's a song. So this one came in, and I've looked at them, like, other than there is a difference in gear ratio and the colors. All other parts interchange. They interchange with this. I've already done the spool swapping around. I may show you that, but I already had this reel out. Got the drag clicker, all of them, the Dark Wolf Ultra, all the variants come with pretty much the same exact handle knobs. Some of them spin freer than others. I hadn't really looked at this one yet because I had other issues with the other reel, as you'll see, about bearings or bushings. I'd almost swear those are going to be very sucky bearings or bushings. They're not as free as the second batch, was it? The Black Knight 2s were horrible. They came with bushings. Mine did. The Dark Wolf Ultras had like very, almost like extraordinary smooth bearings in them. Very good. These are just okay, whatever they are. They're just not the greatest, but they work. So no issues with this one. And it's a 7-to-1. Feels very smooth right out of the package. Very good. Feels like a very good reel. And this one had like a shrink wrap around the box. The other one did not. And I didn't notice it initially because it was the first one I opened. So I didn't know if they were supposed to come to it. Not all of them do. Not all reels come with, the boxes don't come wrapped up like that with the shrink wrap around the box. So this is the first one I opened. I got them yesterday. Well, actually, one came 2 days ago, and I opened them yesterday. I was going to do an unboxing and thought, well, let's just see. So the first thing we opened this one, it had this same packaging here. That is the same exact thing. That's right. The box was labeled right. It comes with this. This was right. But then look at this thing. dude, look at this reel that they gave me. Now what's funny is that's a spool. That's a deep spool, and that's the right spool. This spool will not fit in that reel. No way. There's no way that spool will fit in that reel. So then here's the reel they gave me, and we'll look at it in a minute. It's a junk. It's a pile of junk. And the foam piece was in the bottom. So other than the fact, I'm pretty sure what happened, and I don't know if somebody intentionally did it. I'd almost swear somebody in the factory swapped it out. Basically, they wanted maybe, I don't know, for their buddy or somebody. This, I'm sure, is a cheaper reel than what the, Micro Monsters were, especially when they first came out. I imagine this probably happened before, I ordered it a while before. Somebody swapped out a reel at the factory or something. Because this reel, I'll be honest, is a pile of crap. I fit and held it in hand. If you guys remember the green reel that I've talked about, that's sort of kind of like the Zephyr, is a 10 times better reel than this one, and it was only 20 bucks. So whatever that is. So this reel just feels cheap. This drag clicker is that drag star is very cheap. Just the overall feel, everything's ratchety. Like, look at this. You guys see that? Like, I don't even know what's in there, but it doesn't just have play this way, side to side. It's got up and down, wiggle, wobble. I mean, this reel just, you can feel it. The clutch bar does not want to engage. I don't know if you guys hear that double noise. Like right there, then it clicked in. Like, this is a pile of junk. I honestly would not give $10 for this reel. So I've put in for a refund. I don't even want to have to hassle with sending this pile of crap back to them. I just want them to give me a refund or send me another reel, one of the two, which would probably be they'll give me a refund and I'll order another one, probably through Kingdom site, not that. And I can't. Somebody remind me. I'll try to put the name of the store down below and I hate to really do that because it may not be the store's fault at all, or it wasn't nothing they planned. Maybe just somebody at their store, did a little swap deal. I have no idea for sure, but I can't recommend that store. That's 100% for sure when they send something like this, in the wrong box. So anyway, stay tuned. I haven't heard back yet. It'd be curious to, do I get a refund on this? Because this one was 72. The other one was 62. They'd only allowed you to have one, that kind of deal. They were out or whatever during a sale. So I went to the next cheapest one I could find, which was this store, and ordered another Micro Monster because I knew I wanted two. I wanted 3 total to go with the purple rods. And although this is purple, and I was looking at it, I was like, well, if it's not a horrible reel, my thoughts were I could put it on the biggest purple rod, right? Because it would match up. It actually is very colored like the like the Black Knight 2. The coloring is very similar. The reel is horrible. This reminds me of the cheap $12 reels that they used to sell on AliExpress. Why a lot of people still feel that AliExpress just has nothing but junk, because some of your first batches of cheap Chinese reels they're just like this one. They worked, but they were horrible reels. They just sucked. They were like back when basically your cheaper versions of some of your higher end brands, they first started making cheaper stuff. It was also junk too, because that's probably who was making them, these guys in China for them. But so this reel is horrible. Somebody trying to buy my house. I don't even have a house. Spam likely. So anyway, I just thought you guys, oh man, I was cussing. If I would have done a live unboxing, you guys would have heard a lot of different bombs being dropped. I was pretty much livid on the fact that out of 3, so 2 out of 3 reels of the Micro Monsters have been, this one wasn't as bad. At least it was a Micro Monster. It was just the wrong one. I wanted both spools. I still kind of wish I would have just asked for a complete refund and got the, these instead, so all 3 reels were the same. But variety is spice of life, right? It does look a little different, and it's a good functioning reel. We got to figure out what that little clickety click is. This one though, if they refund my money, this isn't even a good enough reel to give away. I will smash it with a big heavy weight of some sort and do a video on it. I'll probably do that regardless, unless they demand I send it back to get my refund, $70 some, and I have to send this pile of crap. It's not worth sending it back. The shipping it's going to cost whoever to get it back to them, it's just junk. That is not. Oh, I'm serious. I would not pay $10 for that. I wouldn't give it away to somebody. I wouldn't hand this to somebody to here use this one because I feel you're. It's probably, I'm sure, a casting pile of crap. This is very loose. It's easy to adjust, and I'm sure it'll get turned, you know, and hit. Just everything about this reel. I didn't even take it. I didn't even open the side plates to see what kind of funky. I'm sure it's the old Magtrack style pile of junk. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about? Oh man, you guys don't even know. When I saw that reel come out, I was like, oh no, you didn't. Ah, jeez. Woo. Yeah, I know. Now let's talk about what somebody had commented before. Like a lot of you guys, you know, we're not dogging old Bass and Bonsai here, but a lot of you guys actually know a lot more stuff about certain stuff right when it first comes out than I do. I don't. A lot of times, I'll be honest. I see something that looks good, I just order. I don't take the time to read every little spec on it. But they were talking that this spool holds more line, and I was just going to show you that you can clearly tell if you order just the 8-to-1 and you want the shallowest spool you can get, that's getting the 8-to-1. Even though this is a shallow, and then they give you this as a deep spool. I guess I could open this other one up. Let's get it out real quick. And they are, I'll try to show you that. I've got my deep spool tape with tape on it, but. So there's the two spools you get. And all these spools, all of them that come with all of them Acura, they're all very lightweight. Like and I've done in the unboxing, we weighed them and all that kind of stuff. But we're just going to compare them now. So you've got the deep spool, which is still, shallow spool and a deep spool. The shallow spool is a little deeper than the one that comes with the 8-to-1. I was going to try to show you that. So when you put them together, and you can kind of feel it where it's even, see how that goes in before it touches? Meaning this is definitely a little bit deeper, holds a little more line. So if you want to fill it all the way to full capacity, and you want to put, you know, say, like for me, I feel I can run this with 10-pound line, get enough on it. I may even try it. I may be able to put enough, like a regular line of whatever size for those of you guys that want to use, you know, you want to do pretty lightweight BFS, but you want a lot of line capacity. You would actually want to get the dual spooled one and go that route. So I feel, and I looked at them, I'm not going to take this one back out yet, but when comparing the deep with the deep of the Acura, I think they're exactly the same, but the Acura has different cutouts. It doesn't have the little circles cut out to lighten it up. It has like the little almost rectangles. But all the stuff does interchange. You can take, if you go this route on, whoa, you know, you could put this dark purple spool in the Acura if you want. No issues. All the spool tolerances seem the same. So you could go, if you know, if you're just that guy, you just want a purple spool. If they start selling all this stuff different, separate or whatever, if you just want a purpley pink spool for your Acuras, for your, and if you guys watch the conversion, I switched them back. I put a video out showing you it's real simple to convert a Dark Wolf Ultra to the Magtrack style. If you wanted to have the ability to run shallow and deep spools, and you want to keep that Dark Wolf Ultra frame, you're just attached to it, and you want all your reels to look the same kind of deal. Which, you know, and it wouldn't cost a ton of money. These are only, you can get them as cheap as 55. I think the Dark Wolf Ultra may still be 55, 60 bucks. These you can get 65, 72. So 75 and under for sure, you can always find them for if you're like in a hurry and want one. So let's jump now. Now in this video, it's only 20 minutes. We'll try to keep it under 30. I'm actually headed to the gym to do more cardio because I've been eating way too much bread pudding. And it's not even This is, we got a few days before Thanksgiving. I've already ate like half a bread pudding. Oh, so anyway, yeah, and I'm in bulk up mode. If you guys don't know anything about weightlifting, when you're kind of bulking up, you tend to eat, more protein, more food overall to get energy and go lift heavier kind of deal. So I'm in that mode, but I've gone overboard, trust me. But anyway, so that leads me to, and I'll try to show you a couple of these reels. Let's just talk about what's the best out of these Dark Wolf Ultra variants. Are they the best reel on the market? Is it something like this? Is it something we don't have, in just my opinion? The Reel Test did a test, didn't really do a test, but sort of did a test on the new KastKing stuff, right? You've seen him do the video on the Kestrel. Jimmy from Raw Fishing, I believe he has both. He's been doing a few videos, so check him out if you haven't already. And then, of course, the ALDEBARAN, right? If you guys watch the Reel Test, Shimano is the best reel company in the world, right? Or Daiwa, if you follow Bass and Bonsai. It's a toss-up. There is no other one that comes close to those two. It is Shimano or Daiwa for sure. I believe Shimano to be a bigger company, period, with their bicycle stuff. With Shimano, I think they deal in way more of everything than Daiwa. I'm still not 100% sure on that, but I would almost bet. So is this the best reel, BFS reel ever made? Right? We got options. Is it just another reel that I maybe don't even have? Or is it one of these reels that you can get a spool? Is there a aftermarket spool out there that is the best spool ever made? So in my personal opinion, as of right now, what is out there offered for ultra light, that real lightweight, you guys seen the Reel Test, me, a few other people doing that. Reel Test probably started the whole 1 gram trout magnet. I'll be honest, because I'd never even heard of a trout magnet until he started fishing. Popped one up and I'm like, what? And Charles, he's got them. And if you guys remember right, I did a video on the Silver Creek. And you watch me, I was out there casting, I believe it was like a half a gram bait. Didn't get far. That video's out there. So, what's the best reel going? In my personal opinion, even though you could probably nowadays call me more of a Daiwa guy, it's still this reel. Even though I have this reel's still for sale, like $200. I would sell it. I got the original handle. It's probably got a scratch on it somewhere. But this reel's bad. This reel is bad in a good way. The reason I want to get rid of this reel, the biggest reason, is it looks funky and that disturbs me when I'm fishing it. The next biggest reason, it's way too high of a gear ratio. I can feel that. I didn't realize it was that high, it would feel that way. Definitely feels different than my older ALDEBARAN, which was for a long time my favorite, period, if you guys have followed me or the channel kind of deal. But this reel is legit. I wish it came in a different color, even if all this gaudy, nasty stuff was there. I wish it came in a different color and I had a slower gear ratio, and I wouldn't be saying it's for sale. Will I use it? I don't know. I just feel like it's too fast for everything I use, except for a true jig only type deal, which I hardly ever do. But I may rig it up on the 6.6 Teton and just leave it as a shaky head rod, because it is awesome for that, and it does work. But it seems like overkill. Technically, really like a $300 reel on just a one-trick Tony kind of setup. But it would have worked awesome for that. But I could also put one of these on it, like I've done, or the Dark Wolf Ultra at a 7-to-1, and I can fish it shaky head, I can fish a little crank, I can fish all kinds of stuff to where I feel this is a little too high geared. That's the only reason that I kind of leave it out of the lineup at the moment. It's an awesome reel. But these reels are very insanely awesome for the money. Crazy cheap. Seem to be... Now, I've only got, well, if you guys follow along, when I finally got these in, I've used Dark Wolf Ultra for quite a while. These things seem like they're going to be legit as far as a good, working, lasting reel. How long will a plastic reel last compared to a aluminum frame, magnesium frame one? Probably, I would guesstimate half the lifespan, on the BFS type stuff. Now, if you get out like we're doing, I'm doing with these, we're going to see how long this has been from the beginning of me unboxing it and starting to use it. It's been for chatterbaits, right? Like 3/8, half ounce, they're a little heavier. Chatterbaits on medium heavy rod now is where it's going to be, has lived for a while on the carbon light and will continue to live until it wears out. So we're going to find out, just how long will one last. Now it's got metal gears. It's all in how well and how long, will the plastic housing start wallering out, so to speak? Will stuff tolerances get loose? Will the gears, start wearing out faster? Because I would almost say that before the gears, aluminum gears wear, it'll probably become a tolerance issue. They'll get a little slop in it and it'll make them wear faster, to where if you tried to buy and put new gears in it, they'll wear out fast again. So in my honest opinion, these are the type of reels, and hopefully they keep making them or coming up with something a little bit better, which would be, it's going to be hard to beat this other, maybe smooth it down like they do the Dark Wolf Ultra. But say if you can get so many years out of this, and it's basically going to probably be a throwaway reel, just for the fact, it'll be cheaper to just buy a whole nother reel than try to track down the gears and a few bearings. By the time you do that, like say you wanted to freshen this up, you got it. Say you've had this thing, it managed to make it 4 years. Okay, you made it 4 years. In 4 years, between bearings, different things, even if you find them fairly cheap on AliExpress, you're probably talking 25 to 30 bucks to freshen up a reel. Why wouldn't you just buy a whole brand new one if they're still around at by then, maybe for like 55, 65 bucks? Like in my opinion, I would just buy, even if I put hopped up handles and drag stars and stuff on it, I would just pull that stuff off, stick it on a brand new one, and go on about my business, right? Once they get to be in this kind of cheaper reel. So I would say, if I can get, where's the one at? So like this guy, I guess gave $62 for this. In all honesty, if it lasts 2 years, I'll be happy. If it lasts 4, why would you wouldn't spend 60 bucks for a 4-year reel, and then you just buy another one kind of deal? Over 200. And here's why. If the technology wasn't jumping the way it is nowadays, I would say so. But it's kind of like iPhones. Like, I'm not going to spend $1,000 for an iPhone when next year there's another newer one out that's going to be another $1,000. Like, I just get these cheap Solero G5Gs and whatever. A lot of them are just free, just if I do whatever kind of deal. So it's hard to justify to somebody, not even just like this reel, to go spend $350 on a reel. And 2 years from now, the reel, it's probably going to last 10, 20 years. 10 years maintained right, might need a bearing, might need a gear here or there or something. But you're looking at long-term usage out of most Daiwa and Shimano's. Problem is, go look around on eBay in different places and look at the huge honking ones just, say 5 years ago. Nobody wants those reels because of the weight and just the ability. A lot of them are still good, awesome working reels, but it's just the way the technology's advanced, and it's hard to justify spending a lot of money on a reel that it almost seems outdated just within a couple years. If you guys watch how fast like Shimano cycled through their Metaniums, the old big silver one, which still awesome working reel, but now they're down to that little Metanium that everybody likes and seems to be, I don't really like it. I wish they'd have stuck with the original brightest silver one and just shrunk it down a little bit, but that was a casting machine and it just palmed kind of big. So anyway, that's my take on that, as why, to justify what. So when it comes down to the best for what I would use it for, like if I was hitting creeks and streams a lot, honestly wouldn't have none of these. I would maybe have this one. I would have a Dark Wolf Ultra. I wouldn't say none of these. I'd have a Dark Wolf Ultra. I wouldn't have got rid of either one of my Daiwa reels, because for one-trick ponies and throwing that lightest stuff and just awesome at doing it, those alpha variants, the Silver Creek and the Airstream Custom, those two reels are hard to beat. This reel's right there with them, and that's the reel I would also, recommend if you're, because you can get aftermarket spools now. Like if you want what is probably the best to get for the lightest of everything would probably be the Airstream Custom. Wait, which one? No, the Silver Creek. No, wait. I think I liked both of those. Those are kind of, it's hard to really pick one over the other. A lot of guys still swear by which is the older Alphas variant, the Airstream Custom. It's the older frame, and then the Silver Creek's the newer framed Alphas. Both of those are very awesome. I think this with an aftermarket spool versus those with aftermarket spools, I think this will probably outdo those by just a little bit. But for all around, this hands down. Those are kind of have their specific, what they're real good at, the lightest of BFS fishing. But for an all-around BFS and can throw regular stuff, you can't beat that with that stock spool. But what is right there with it, I mean, right there close, right there, real close, are these guys. They'll go down, they'll go up, they'll go all over. And even though I haven't cast this with a deeper spool, I would assure you it's probably going to be the same performance as the Acura. Because if you guys have seen me out there casting, like with this guy zinging out bigger baits, throwing even light stuff, you know, I put it right there close with the Zillion. Now the Zillion is also one that is, you can get down there, you guys watch the shootout just with the stock spool. They make aftermarket ones with the stock spool. You can get down to 2 grams. You can throw 2 gram baits. We did it. So it's a very awesome spool. That SV Boost, and I think it's a boost is what helps it, makes it over the other SV spools. But then it'll fling some heavy baits, some 3/4 ounce. Well, won't that thing focus? I know you guys are thinking, look at those crazy circus colors Charlie has on. That's not a permanent deal. I was just kind of trying something out. I know it looks like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey's circus come to town, and the clown is out. But it's there. Here's one. At the plan, I'll show you what I got going. If you guys remember right, I got the carbon lights. So we've got just a regular Acura rigged up with the deep spool, but 10-pound line. I've got that on the medium light, carbon light. Then I've got one of the Zillions rigged up with about half the spool filled just to make it a lower gear ratio. It's 8:5 to 1. It probably puts it under 8, but maybe not 7:5 to 1, something like that on the 7-foot medium moderate for the, you know, cranking and that kind of stuff. I still like a fast reel, but not as fast as these like 8:5 to 1s. So then the 8:5 to 1 with it almost, it's still not full, but it's up there a lot more than what the other one reel. Why won't that thing keep focus? So we've got that one just kind of rigged up. Same handle. These are 85 millimeters. Same, just a different color, but the same star. And for whatever reason, you can't get that star anymore in that shape with the cutouts like that. The Gomex ones. I was trying to show you. It's a... Come on. Oh my God. See that? Gomex extra cutouts that just aren't there with all the other ones that I've seen. And when I look on the website, and this one didn't have it. They're just smooth right there. Not quite made exactly the same. And I don't know why. I like these way better. They just look a little more. Oh my God. Catch a Cow says hi, hello, and then I got some crazy stuff I'm gonna have to get on there and spam that for some reason they don't take off on. I have to go do that, but one of you guys will try to post a link that actually has something to do with the channel, and then they YouTube won't let that stay. Then of course I got on my 6.9 medium heavy, my favorite rod for chatterbaits, favorite rod overall, and actual favorite rod and reel combo is just this setup. And I have switched the star to that other type of drag star that I like. And this thing isn't quite as clicky as I would like it to be. So I got some drag clicker, the internal part things coming. But this reel so far is working awesome. We're just going to see how long they'll last. I'm up in the air on, like, it's hard to not call this the best reel to come out in a long time. Even over all the Daiwas and Shimanos, just for the price and the function, what it'll do. And just to tell you why I can put it ahead of the Dark Wolf Ultra, because the Dark Wolf Ultra, even though it's not a true one-trick pony, it's pretty much limited to 10-pound line or less. You can get up into around 15-pound and go down or whatever. You can do this, just capable of more stuff on the Acura. And you got two different gear ratios. Dark Wolf Ultra, you are limited, 7-to-1. The Acura, it's just a more versatile of the whole variants. Why, you ask, even over this? Because this, you can only get a deep and a shallow spool, 7-to-1. You can get an 8-to-1, but you only get the shallow spool. So therefore, even if you like that color crazy stuff, you know, that you can't say this is a better reel than this one, because on how you order them, you're limited. If I want a deep spooled 7-to-1 reel, I can't do it here. I can order two and make one, but that's the only way I can do it. I can't do it that way. I can't do it with Dark Wolf Ultra. That's why I put this Acura over all those others, including the Black Knight 2, which I have one. I don't have it here. As far as I know, other than the Genius, which is basically this with a shiny paint job and horrible brakes compared to those. Not horrible, that's what brakes these have, but compared to that braking system, it's like a downgrade. In my opinion, it's a downgrade of the Dark Wolf Ultra, the Genius. So, is this the best reel of 2022? Does it beat this? Because although this will beat it in almost any category you might go try them in, this will get so close, I'm telling you. And the performance wise, it comes with the drag clicker, it's lightweight, the palming is very close. This may palm a little bit better, but man, that's right there. If this had the Dark Wolf Ultra framing, I would put it at a tire. This maybe even palms a little better, but they're so close, it's like you almost can't even tell as far as if one palms better than the other kind of deal. And honestly, once you start using some of these and a zillion, this feels weirder. It feels too different over all the other ones. So honestly, put this ahead of it, because $70, $270 or $300 and whatever these are. Huge price difference, and it's more versatile. You can put a lot more line. Like, you wouldn't want to try to put 15-pound test on this and go do anything with it, right? Because it's just a capacity. It's not going to hold enough line to get a good long cast. That's where this becomes that. Is it the best reel of 2022? Maybe, maybe not. We're still going up against the zillion, in my opinion. It is definitely the best all-around BFS reel ever made, in my opinion. It just factors in the price, the looks, the capabilities, the feel of it, the palmability, and all that kind of stuff. Yes, it is. And it's not even this one. This is 8-to-1. For some reason, feels a little bit different. My personal favorite gear ratio of these, anyway, for 100% for sure, but probably most reels, is that mid-7, that like 7-to-1, 7-to-5. For everything, I like it for also for jigs or for whatever, because you guys know me, I like my combos to almost be kind of versatile. I can throw a little bit of everything, or I could swim a jig, or I could do whatever. So I like that 7-to-1 over this 8-to-1. But these reels overall. So the only issue would be, let's compare it to what I'm calling my favorite reel ever made, right? The Zillion, in my opinion, is definitely the best Zillion ever made. Is it the best reel ever made? Is it the best reel of 2022? If you go on the prices on here in the United States, probably maybe crazy price compared to what you can go to Digitaka and find them for. But I don't know. It's a very hard for me to decide, because one thing, the weight wise, this is a heavier reel, palms a touch bigger, palms comfortable. I feel it can, like when you get into 3/4 ounce or half ounce and not casting as hard kind of thing, this beats this one. But this thing will zing a half ounce bait pretty good. I'm definitely impressed with how well this thing casts. But I didn't take them, and I maybe need to do that. Do a true you know, with I guess the deep spool versus the regular SV spool, not even going into the, you know, put the shallow spool versus this one to see how light they'll throw. Because you can also, you know, if you go to switching spools for another $50, you can add that one spool that I actually, that one is still the spool that beats everybody in overhead cast. That oh shoot, what is that? I can't even think of the name of the spool now. But that, you guys have seen it. It's crazy loud. The gold spool you can get from AliExpress for $50. That thing will outcast in overhead casting. It beat all the other reels with that spool. But so I may need to go out there though with the regular stock spool, stock deep spool, and just compare these. Do a little shootout that way before I can truly call one over the other. The flip side to all these plastic reels though, and you got, I think it's been CJ and Nate, maybe we've talked about it a little bit here and there. I would not recommend anything over 15 pound, and 15 pound may still be a bit much for these. You guys may see me use these for a year or so, and I may snap them off right here because they are plastic. I would not go over 15-pound test with these plastic reels especially. They're more geared for the finesse type stuff. I'm using it pretty heavy on, I got one on the Big Sexy, one on my, which is a medium heavy. The heavy, I'm going to run a zillion because I believe the minute you go past 15 pound, there's no mistaking that this reel is going to blow this reel away overall, everything on just what can be done. They're roughly about the same line capacity, but you can go 20, 30, probably 50 pound, crank this drag down. I'm not going to have any issues. I don't feel I will. If I go anything over 15, I would be scared that I'm going to rip this reel right off of its, right off of that, and I'm going to start flexing this little frame, plastic frame, way more than I would with anything aluminum. But for BFS, up to for sure 12, I would not. I'd recommend for anybody 12 pound lighter. I'm doing 15 pound lighter so far. I've had no issues. 15 pound braid to a 15 pound leader. I've got the drags cranked fairly tight. There is some give. If you're the type of guy that cranks your drag down all the way, then you don't want to go over a 12 pound test with one of these plastic reels, or any plastic reel for that matter. You know, you basically tighten down, the line's going to either break or the rod's going to snap, or the you know, something like that. Is that's how you fish, then you don't want to, I don't recommend messing with anything plastic. You want to stick with some kind of aluminum framed reel and bigger line and all that kind of stuff, so you're not even in the realm of basically how I fish. So anyway, if you have any questions, I'm going to do a final end of the year. I'm going to try to go fishing next weekend. This is coming up as Thanksgiving, so everybody knows we all get off on Thanksgiving is a Thursday. We have to go to work on Black Friday, even though our jobs usually don't really would require us to even be there. I'll probably have a quarter of my normal load. But we'll go to work, and then we're off Saturday and Sunday. Well, the good news is I think if it holds out, it's going to be in the mid-50s. So that's that last day. If you didn't watch that video, it's coming up. And of course you haven't watched it. I think you saw a preview of it. But me and Matt went out, and it was about that temperatures, roughly mid-50s. But man, it was like 18, 20 mile an hour winds. So we fished on the non-windy side, did pretty good. And now your body kind of gets more acclimated to that cold weather. You go outside every morning in that 25-degree weather. It's just after a while, a 55-degree day feels a lot warmer than a 55-degree day when it's been 70s, right? You guys know the deal. So I should be able to get out for a period of time on Saturday, and same thing on Sunday, and get some fishing in. So I'm going to try to rig up. I will rig up this for sure on one of the purple rods. Haven't decided which one yet. With the deep spool. Probably get the other one out, rigged up on the filling. And then, of course, our lineup for our zillion carbon light combos will be out there. This one on, even if I don't use it, probably rig this one up on Big Sexy, because I'm probably going to keep the Big Sexy in the lineup right after my 6'9" medium heavy, then the roughly 7-foot medium heavy Big Sexy, and then our 7-foot heavy. Because there is, I kind of start to use that, you know, I get into that jig bite where I'm throwing like either a shaky head or a jig when the bite gets tough, and it's always good to have a couple heavier rods, just like I do with BFS. You'll see me with like 4 BFS rods that are capable of throwing roughly the same kind of baits. So I think I need to keep those and have a few, you know, a heavy and a couple medium heavies just to cover that. Chatterbaits, jigs, maybe one rigged up with the Texas rig, and then stuff like that. So I'll keep that in line. But I like that big sexy rod. It's a pretty good rod. So that 7-foot heavy, you're gonna see in an upcoming video with as soon as I got it. Me and Matt, I did good with it, and then the next day I went up by myself and it shined again. So got lucky into it. We caught some fish on the 7-foot medium moderate. Also seems like it's going to be a good one. So anyway, stay tuned. A lot more coming. I think I covered roughly everything I wanted to. I'm hoping they just give me a complete refund. I'm going to get this thing out. We're going to smash it with something. I want something that'll just crush it. And I'll try to do it like where I could get it in slow motion, so it probably won't be a live type deal. I'll probably just make a video. Is that thing already scratched up or something? Yeah, I didn't do that. It looks like it's already, almost like it's got something wrote on it. I don't know. I didn't do that. Yeah, it's almost like somebody just took a reel and like, man, this thing's junk. They took their line off of it, took it back to the store and swapped it out in the box. Junk reel. Junk. This thing's junk. Purples look good, right? It's junk though. Junk reel. Alright, gonna keep it under an hour. 40, actually just over 45-minute video, right? That's pretty good for me. Just taking a gander, looking at everything. Do I want to talk about anything? Not really. I've got a few handles. I gotta get to the gym. I haven't taken my pre-workout yet. So I still have a few of these laying around. I'll probably end up de-anodizing all these. I've got a few pieces coming, and when everything makes it, I'll do another video showing you basically how I do this. How I take a reel that's very cheap and I make it expensive, right? I take a $15 drag star, another $5 or $10 piece, another $5 piece, just to get it to where I've got that what I call just a better looking and functioning. It's a little bit longer. You can reach, and whether you're just flipping it a few times before you get your other hand to it, or you just want to reach up real quick, it is easier to make an adjustment with these than with the stock ones. Now, I would probably leave them alone if they all came with either the Dark Wolf Ultra, which almost has that Zion look to it, but the ones that come on the Acuras are the worst ones of the bunch, unfortunately for me. They're just that cheap black plasticky look. I wish they would have done like what they did with these. I do like that effect about the Micro Monsters. They're the drag stars, just the same color of the reel. They just went ahead and painted it the same color of the reel. I like that over these. So yeah, that's what we got going on. I'm going to try to get something going on for next weekend. I did real well though. You're going to see this video coming out, and hopefully I put them in a thing lastly, and then I'll get out of here. You're going to see the video coming out, man. I struggled, and then stick with it. Stick with what you know, if you know on stuff, or what you know to try when other stuff isn't working. Try to stick with the game plan and go through your baits until you find something, and then build off of that. Even if it's not what you call building a pattern, building something that's working when you're out fishing. But stay tuned for that video. And if you haven't watched the full day of fishing, that was me and Charles out in pretty rough conditions. A week before, we were at the same place, and it was crazy wind. That's when somebody talked about we were like, you know, we were definitely in this crazy fish mode. And we said we'll go back out the next weekend to the same place. And that place almost, and I mentioned it in the videos, that it's almost like it's cursed. And we call it Tom's. We go to Tom's, and it is insane weather. It never fails. It's either so crazy windy or it's raining when it's not supposed to rain. And it makes it harder to just fish. Like the comfort level just isn't there. But man, it's usually an insane bite. And that's partly why, I think, because the weather, a barometric pressure is always dropping or something while that's happening. So we caught so many fish, I was like, oh man, it's gonna suck trying to edit this, even making it in a couple parts. So I basically decided to just run one clip to the next clip to the next clip until it filled up a, say, 30-40 minute somewhere slot. and throw it out there in a video. And then I got them all together. Now they are in a playlist. I think the last one dropped today. So you should be able to go there, find a playlist, and hit play all, and it'll just play them in the order they were in. If you just get bored like me, you're sitting here, maybe you're editing something yourself on a computer, and you got the TV in front of you, or you're working on your reels and you got a TV up in your background. Just put that on, and that is like I didn't even add them all up, but I want to say it's probably a 4 to maybe 5 hour video series all together to, I don't know if we had an 8-hour day, but it was a long day. We got there morning about daylight, and I think we stayed till like 3. Like, it was close to an 8-hour trip, and there was some, we had to go back to the truck, waited out for a half hour here and there. That stuff, I didn't even record. I just shut the camera off and went to the truck, waited out, went back and forth. So pretty much everything that took place, you witnessed if you watched that video series of the full day of bass fishing, honey hole, or whatever I called it. And also comment in this video or in those videos if you like that kind of thing. I could try to put more of those together. I don't have the ability to just stick 3 hours. I don't even really can't go over 40 minutes, then my computer starts acting up. The editing in it, the process, just the stuff in whatever. I guess I don't have a highly advanced enough stuff to, it wants to like not let it get exported or uploaded, that kind of thing. So I unfortunately can't just hit the button. Now, I guess I could, hit the button and let the camera just roll for 4 hours or whatever, and then upload that to YouTube. That's a possibility, but man, there's a lot of stuff goes on that I would not want to make it to YouTube. So I do the stop here and there, it could be, just whatever. Stuff that not everybody or nobody wants to see kind of thing, right? But there's some cussing going on in this thing, there's a lot, and you've heard me, I've let a little bit more stuff slip. I know this is kind of geared towards a family overall, but it's kind of geared to us fishermen, and there's some cussing goes on sometimes when you're out fishing. You guys, if you guys are anything like my family, all your kids have already probably heard all the cuss words they're going to hear in life by some family member, right? At some time or another at a family get-together kind of deal. But I'm not a cusser. I'm not one to just go around cussing nonstop all the time. I try not to, but you've seen in videos, when Charlie gets mad, there's going to be a few different things dropped. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Get out, go bass bonsai. Check out your local weather. If you can get out on that water, you can get fish to bite. You may have to throw a shaky head, some sort of soft plastic, a TRD, or the jig. Always throw the jig. But you can get bass to bite in the coldest of weather. And if you really want proof of that, go back to one of my first videos I ever put out on, you can scroll down the whole thing, get to the very beginning of Bass Bonsai, and I was literally in my Bass Baby breaking the ice up. There's a thin layer of ice. You can hear me. I go up and down the side of the bank. I come back, I clear out, I waited like a half hour or so, and I caught a giant fish in the area that I broke out. That was a cold, nasty adventure, but it taught me a lot that if you're willing to fish, trust me, there's a fish somewhere over there willing to bite. All right, guys, see you later.